Welcome back, everybody. Dirk the Red Panda here with, I was about to say Neon Genesis Evangelion. No, this is I.C.O, a visual novel created by my friend Cetus. He was one of the guys on my March Madness thing. The wild one, if you can call him that. Yeah, so a little bit about this novel. This is kind of his dream novel, or at least his passion project, I mean, where he just wasn't sure if he was ready to put it out there, but over the past year, we were kind of giving him the pat of encouragement, like, yeah, dude, like, this is an awesome idea, you gotta go for it, man, like, chase it before you lose the drive, because Lord knows a lot of us have with our visual novel ideas, especially me. It's been bad, but yeah, Cetus really caught on to his idea and just started doing it about a couple months back. Like, if his first update was like about a month ago, I think. But yeah, the dude's like really chasing his passion about it. This novel is kind of like a Neon Genesis Evangelion type of vibe, kind of mixed with the apocalyptic world sense. Like, you know, it's that end of the world type of anime sense, but with his own spin on it, of course, and its own aesthetic, I can call it. And no crazy abusive dads as far as we know. At least as far as I gotten. But yeah, if you want to, Cetus's Twitter and I.C.O page are in the description, so you can follow him there, and he's also on my Discord, so you can check him out there and basically say hi to him, give him some praise. But yeah, other than that, I've played through the game like once or twice now because I helped with some debugging for the game. But other than that, you know, I'm not as familiar with it in case there's any changes made in the last minute. But yeah, I really wanted to add this game to my channel because it's got quite the potential, I think, and honestly, I really enjoy the concept and love the creator of it, so I thought if I get the time on my weeks off, I'll play I.C.O, so not sure if I can guarantee it in the current schedule unless you guys are really loving it. So, fingers crossed you guys love it. Because, yeah, he deserves it. Yeah. So I saw you guys say that I didn't have audio, so that was about 2 minutes ago, like the first 2 minutes of the video. So, yeah. Not too much else to say. I was going to reveal the Dirk meme review meme of the video, but I don't think I got any, not at least on Twitter. Let me just double check. No, I haven't got any on Twitter. I kind of put it out a bit last minute. I'll let you guys know in advance, like, honestly, just send me memes whenever, like, on my Dirk Meme Reviews Discord and my Twitter hashtag, Dirk Meme Review. So, yeah. No Dirk Meme Review, or, yeah, nobody put a meme in there, so I'm just going to find that gif of Amicus slamming a door open to pass the time. I think it was Lucian that did it. Shout out to Lucian for awesome CG artwork, or 3D artwork. Why I call it CG. Anyway. Ah, shoot. I'm just gonna click on his profile. There we go. Wow, he keeps creating stuff. This dude is ambitious as hell. I'm going to just drag this GIF. Ah, frick. I was going to save it, but not sure if I can. Ah, fuck, it won't let me drag it and, like, copy paste it. For a good reason, probably. Don't want to, you know, steal something that's copywritten or whatever. Anyway. Happy Pride Month, everybody. I can't believe I haven't been so vocal about it. I've been supporting it kind of behind the scenes, but yeah, really bad at announcing it myself. I kept thinking about I need to make a Pride profile pic, but yeah, a lot of things just distracted me, especially finals. Okay, so I can't seem to upload the Amicus thing because my Firefox is just not letting me. Anyway, we will wait for next time to do it, so I'll just put it in the description here. Okay, just had to save that. Apologies for the delays. And yeah, we don't have any dank memes as of now, and my Twitter kind of got stuck. I can try logging in again, but who knows if that will work. Alright. Test 2. Nope, not working again. I'm just gonna copy the link to the tweet and put it in the chat here. It's this GIF, like, everybody loves Amicus, right? The Adastra guy. No, kid, everybody knows Amicus. Everybody loves Amicus. He was best boy of 2020, am I right? Yeah. Anyway, I can't seem to, like, copy anything from Twitter to post on my screen, so we'll try next week to get more fluid and working, but right now, not having the best luck with it. And I'm going to turn that off and go to Ethernet cable for it. Is sketching on a laptop or digital art any different than traditional paper art? I would say yes, depending on what you're using. Like, if you're using the tablet where you don't see on it, it's definitely a lot of getting used to, like, drawing on one thing and then looking at another screen. So that's, like, kind of getting the hand-eye coordination down. Even with the screened tablets that you can draw on, it's still kind of, like, you feel like you have a little more flexibility to change something and manipulate it, as opposed to, like, having to erase and do something all over again. So I would say it's a little easier in some ways, but it's more difficult to get motivated to draw because you're like, I have to open up my computer, put the tablet in, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, keep that motivation up. That's the big advice during this time, is keep your motivation up to draw and stuff, because Lord knows I haven't. Oh crap, 10 minutes have gone by, and I have not played the game. We're off to a great start, everybody. Skip to 11 minutes. Okay, time to actually play, so we are going to start from the beginning. Here we go. This is I.C.O, everybody. Chapter 1. Activate. You'll have 3 hours to demonstrate your aptitude with the feral unit. Every action you take will be scored. Please be conscious of that. Any questions? No. You may proceed. Oof, spooky. Fuck! Oh, my body jolted as the spotlights activated with a great burst. The sudden light popped the feral unit into sight, as if it were lunging outwards in that instant. 15 meters tall, a mechanical monster forged from years of research and refinement. A single component from its internal systems were worth more than my own body. Even then, this was only a testing dummy. Nothing more than a bare skeleton for the real thing. Despite that, it still made my stomach uneasy, like I was staring into the jowls of an immense abyss. I rolled a wheeled ladder over to the base of the ferrule, its top just reaching the diamond shape on the machine's stomach. I started upwards towards the diamond, each step feeling heavier than the last. I stopped for a brief moment once I reached the diamond-shaped entrance. I could hear deep within the ferrule's mechanic innards the soft hum of its engines, the silent whir of its power drives. It was alive, or at least it felt that way. A living, breathing organism of metal and weaponry about to swallow me whole. The fur on the back of my neck tingled. The drilling scrutiny of my examiners was enough to push me out of my brief period of primal terror. They were watching me constantly. If it looked like I hesitated for even a moment, that could mean the difference between passing or not. I can feel you there, man. That's how I feel with my math final that I kept talking about on Twitter. I pried open the diamond-shaped entrance and a gust of well-conditioned air was released. Within it was a tiny compartment with a ladder that reached up into darkness. I entered. I entered, shut the entrance up tightly, and started my way up the ladder. The moment I shut that entrance, all light vanished, leaving me in the dark. My only sense of location was from touch, the cool feeling of the ladder's material beneath my paws. The soft white noise of the ferrule's internal mechanisms droned on until it filtered out my focus. There was only one way from here. Upwards. I made my way up the ladder, deeper into the ferrule's body. It stretched for a few meters towards the chest area, terminating with a dimly lit trapdoor. There were more latches I had to undo before I shoved the weight of it upwards, entering into a brand new area, the cockpit. Ooh, here it is again. The interior was a compact orb studded with light-emitting spheres all around, bathing the orb in a harsh red glow. And at the center was the seat with a peculiar-looking helmet device attached with a thick stem of wires tapering towards the ceiling. Across from the seat was the only smooth part of the cockpit, a large screen. Almost my entire body length was plastered onto the wall, bending with the curvature of the spherical compartment. It was different to traverse the studs at the bottom of the orb. The awkward shape made it feel like I'd lose my footing any moment. Everything was almost exactly like the previous tests. The cockpit, the helmets, the entrance. Almost a year of dummy versions, failures, successes, and long periods of waiting between tests made this process almost monotonous. But being in the real thing was more than enough to put me on edge. I shut the trapdoor tight and took my seat, wrapping the seatbelt across my stomach and fastening it tightly. My knees were shaking, bouncing as if powered by an electric generator. I wonder if there was a camera in here they were watching me with. Could they see my legs? Would I be marked down for it? I couldn't be distracted by these thoughts. Not right now. I'd certainly be marked down if I just sat here without communicating anything. I pressed a red button on the armrest and the radio system in the cockpit gave a high-pitched whine. Initiate preliminary integrity check to all sections of the feral unit. The communication piece in the helmet crackled to life. Integrity check shows no signs of structural complications. Power levels? Primary and auxiliary power drives read green. Feral unit is fully charged. I knew these were just formalities, but nevertheless, it felt odd stating the obvious. I mean, of course their test feral would be fully charged. I went through a few more back and forth checks before finally arriving at the most important part. All systems functioning at optimal levels. Permission to activate ventriloquist system. Permission granted. In an instant, the helmet buzzed to life and I was overcome with a dizziness. The dizzying sensation worsened and I was sent spiraling into a somewhat nauseating influx of strange senses. I felt as though I was plunging downwards into nothingness, as if a pocket of space had seized my body and was pulling me towards oblivion. Flashes of light pulsated in and out of my vision. Ringing sounded like sirens in my ears, each increasing in intensity every nanosecond which passed. Then it all stopped. My mind reeled as if pulled by the inertia of a suddenly stopping vehicle. I had achieved absolute synchronization with the ventriloquist system. The feral unit has been activated. Here we go. The screen displayed the training chamber, exactly how I recall it looking the brief period I was on the outside. Now, however, it looks smaller, almost cramped. The cool metal of the floor spread across my feet. The weight of the great shackles entombing my arms were almost constricting, and the constant vibration of the feral's power drive roiled like a propeller in the depths of my belly. I was one with the unit. All the sensations broadcast from all 15 meters of its hulking surface down to me. And now, I'll have to control its movements. Activating HUD visual. I took one huge breath after scanning all the information on the screen. My nerves were on fire right now. I could even feel the feral vibrate slightly. All I needed to do was think. Direct this thing to move. I concentrated on the feeling of moving my right arm. Not actually moving it, but only imagining the sense. It was awkward. Difficult even to focus on that sensation. But to my relief, there was a heaving sound almost instantaneously. A colossal arm, still constricted by the restraints, drifted into the view of the screen. It was difficult to maneuver the limbs much due to the restrainers, but I could at least get a feeling for how they bent and fell naturally with gravity. I breathed a sigh of relief knowing that basic movement was down for me. My brief moment of reprieve was cut short when the communication system sprung to life. Simple movements appear to be performed sufficiently. Are you prepared to enter the free-roaming phase? Yes. Yes. Affirmative. The familiar sinking feeling into my stomach started to stir. Free-roaming. Every part of the feral was up to me to control. I'd have to maintain a proper level of coordination and body awareness if I was to ace this part. I've trained for this extensively, and it was always the most difficult part of my lessons. Engage Mode B. The cockpit jolted suddenly, and the upper body of the feral started to make its way towards the ground, guided by the massive mechanisms attached to its arms. In response, the entire cockpit rotated with itself within the feral so I'd be sitting normally instead of dangling in the air by the straps. With a jolting motion, the hands of the feral transformed into paws, retracting the opposable thumb into a slot and warping the digits into a complex mechanical process. Its feral legs buckled and it tilted forward, landing with a resounding thud. It was now fully deployed and freed from its tight restraints. The feral was on all fours, back hunched into an intimidating arc while its tail was fit into a hole in the wall. Moving freely now. This was going to be tricky. I blinked for a moment on how to go about this. The facility wasn't large enough to be completely free to move completely as I wished, but there was enough space for some basic movements. A small walk forwards, imagining the reaching and pushing of each arm of my unit. Hopefully, that'd be simple enough. The feral lurched forward as I concentrated on that sensation of movement. It worked, but by no means was it pretty to watch. The feral made sharp, unnatural movement, jolting suddenly every now and then as it creeped along the floor. Still, I was able to walk awkwardly forward for a few meters. I had to concentrate on the leg movements in sync with my arms. The feral being a quadruped was the most difficult part to grasp. I had to mentally envision my arms as forelimbs from which I'd be walking on in conjunction with my legs. I found it easier to imagine myself crawling forwards, even if it didn't feel right. It at least got the feral to move somewhere. I was already a few steps in, feeling slightly more comfortable controlling the feral unit. Perhaps a little too comfortable. I lapsed focus for a brief moment and the feral unit began to sway. My stomach dropped and I panicked. The mass of the mechanical beast lurched and then... it collapsed. I shifted too much on the side and brought the feral crashing onto its flank. The cockpit jostled violently. My whiskers twitched. There was no doubt I was marked down severely for this blunder. How was I going to get it to walk at this point? Hell, how would I be able to come back from a fuck-up like this? My stomach felt like I was full of writhing worms. A nervous, almost torturous feeling of strangulation that crawled at my resolve. The sensory pads were becoming numb. I couldn't feel the weight of its mechanical body anymore. The system still tried its damnness to connect with me, but I was becoming more and more aware of the seat beneath me as the seconds passed. Harmonics have decreased by 25.4%. Risking total disconnection. Do you wish to abort, Mr. Bishop? No. Just give me a moment. You may proceed. We will force an abort if the event further We will force an abort if the event further complications arise. I think there's a grammatical error. Thanks for the reassurance. Just bring my harmonics back up enough so I can see clearly. I took a deep breath. Tried clearing my head a little. It was alright. I could get back up. I was still shivering. I felt like my chest was being strangled. I still had a little bit of harmonization with the feral. Just enough at least. It was a chore trying to move with this level of connection. I had to strain myself just focusing on simple actions. I envisioned the feral pushing itself off the ground and back onto its feet several times. The beast would only make tiny movements towards its desired position. But there was progress at least. The more it rightened itself, the faster the process became. My harmonics were going up. When it returned to its normal position, I was back, as if I was naturally a part of the feral once more. Walking was still a little awkward, but I managed an entire semicircle. After a few more attempts, the act of walking became natural and a full circle was a breeze. My movements grew more refined and articulate. The instructors probably noticed and had me perform more complicated tasks like bending and running. With every motion, the feral seemed to become more natural to control. like my brain accepted it as an extension of my own body. I could move without having to focus on minute details of gravity or balance. The ventriloquist system improved my coordination with each passing moment. All hesitation evaporated into nothingness. For once, I was completely in the moment. The facility's air was marginally less stifling than that of the cockpit, making my lungs rejoice. I think I did well enough job at least. The people behind the scenes have been talking for at least 10 minutes. What's taking them so long? I fiddled with the very tip of my tail to take my mind off of it. I did nothing wrong, so I was fine, right? Well, the blunder of mine probably got me a few points marked down, but I did enough to make up for it, right? Oh, I don't know anymore. A door opened behind me, and I turned to face a petite fox with a bright yellow envelope in her paws. Is this Jenna from I.C.O? Or even better, Cynthia from the smoke room? Could be any type of fox. Did that mean? The fox turned to me, a stoic look on her face. She was intimidating despite her size, commanding my attention and respect with nothing but her posture and expression. When she was within arm's reach, she held the envelope up towards my body. Oh, I was giving the female instructor a man's voice the entire time. I completely forgot. How sad of me. Mr. Bishop. Yes, ma'am? Contained within this envelope is everything you need to become a feral pilot, Contained within this envelope is everything you need to become a feral pilot, Mr. Bishop. You've displayed a high enough aptitude in your examination for us to accept you into the feral corps. Or the feral corps. You'll be entrusted with a brand new feral unit by the end of the week. Your score suggests you'll best fit in the Myrmidian class. A Myrmidian unit? I had always expected to be a sniper. I'm not exactly complaining, though. I took the envelope and carefully sifted through its contents. I sorted through several documents containing scores and other information, but the thing I wanted most was hidden right at the bottom. There it is, pilot license. Wait, what does it say? Crate of birth instead of date of birth? What would that mean? I thought we're all trying to find out what his date of birth is now. What is Judah's date of birth? Cetus, tell me. Anyway, wonder if he's here. It was official. I'm an actual feral pilot now. Containing myself was a monumental task. My whole body, from the tips of my paws to the strands of my fur on the top of my head, were electric with elation. Congratulations, Mr. Bishop. The war against the I.C.O. needs fresh talent such as yourself. The fox placed a paw on her breast, and I mimicked instinctively. Respite in death. Respite in death. Dismissed. I never quite knew what that slogan meant. Oh boy, I know what that means. And yes, 5'2". He is a short boy. I feel tall for once. I'm 5'9", by the way. Hey you. Get up. It's 4:30. I opened my eyes slowly, vision still hazy from grogginess. The other pilots were already into their morning routine by this point. I guess I was the last to wake up. I was awoken by one of the female otters, someone I can't really name off the top of my head. I nearly bump into her as I stagger out of bed, earning me a harsh comment. I was too tired to really care. The bunk room housed 12 or so mustelids, including me, all of which were in varying stages of preparedness. I got right to my morning routine of tending to my unkempt fur, which would have left me mortified if I had the energy. A quarter of my foot locker was dedicated to my collection of grooming appliances. Before I could lift one out, a thought occurred to me. Would gel affect my performance in the feral unit? I mean, it might not even be necessary to apply it, but getting fur everywhere could be an issue. Yeah, this gel in my hair that I have right now, this could be a big issue. I was going to wash it off from yesterday, but I was like, I should probably look good for the camera today. Probably shower it off afterwards. I shower my hair like every day or like every other day at the least, so yeah, I gotta keep that hair health. Maybe it'd be a waste of time. No, I should just keep brushing. Then again, leaving a good first impression is important. I wouldn't want to look like a wreck on my first day. When I finally resolved to ditch the gel and just continue combing, everyone else had left the dorm room. I practically launched myself out of the doorway, scurrying as fast as my stubby legs would allow me in hopes of being on time. I had a brief breakfast of coffee as bitter as venom and canned abalone, which made my insides feel like sludge. It awakened me, though, which was enough. Weaving my way through the halls towards my any destination was never simple. The place was a network of facilities, people, and corridors. Even after all this time, there were still places that I haven't visited. My new route required me to go through one of the external walkways. There was an elevator station just across that I needed to get into the hangar. It took me to a set of automatic iron doors. A sign painted on its surface indicated I was indeed going in the right direction. I got in range of its motion sensors and braced a blast of lukewarm, smog-tinged air. Yeah, true beauty. Crater Ardor was almost unrecognizable at this time. The cityscape was blanketed in a soft glow petering from the apertures above. Apertures above. Sorry. Most of the city was asleep, yet the pungent smell of industry still burned my nostrils. Please don't commit suicide, even if you're joking around. This is a positive vibes and mentally, like, you know, positive chat and stream. Anyway. Also, don't roleplay if it makes everybody else uncomfortable. Anyway. And welcome to the stream, Aaron. Didn't miss too much, just this guy passing his test and becoming a... was it Myrmidian pilot something? Anyway. It was just the thing you get used to when living in Crater Ardor. Between that and the constant toiling of the factories or blazing of the artillery guns. From afar, one could even see the Eastern Military Complex situated probably 1.5 kilometers over on the other side. I turned my gaze towards the sheer cliff face where the walkway was attached. Dotting the surface were outcroppings of structures protruding sharply like scales. The most prominent of the structures hung around the lip of the Ardor's dome. Hangar 3. Or Hangar 03. Of course it was much larger as the majority of it was underground. The crater city was only a small portion of the actual structure. Weaving throughout the walls was a complicated, cutting-edge maze which could span far beyond the crater walls. It was weird to think sometimes that the world of old sat right above my head whenever I slept. A world long lost to them. The elevator station was also stuck into the side of the crater, but it was also connected to the pathway I walked on. And hello, Lyde. And yeah, it's great to see you all here. Anyway, and Titus and whoever, my usual routine people. I took one last look at Crater Ardor before heading inside. The station was busy with people coming and going above and below. Even at this time, it was only slightly less packed than usual. You had to be early to get into a lift easy. Unfortunately, even that could only do you so much good. He's probably tired in the game, so... Late-night crew members and officials descended from above looking weary and tired, being replaced by the well-rested, fresh-faced individuals who took the lift upwards. I had to push my way through a few people before finding to a free lift entrance tucked away in the corner. The doors were sealed shut, and at the side of the entrance was a small screen, asking for the destination I desired. Nivik, we are playing I.C.O. It's a new visual novel by Cetus the Otter, a good friend of mine, and I think it would be a good, like, alternate visual novel to have on the channel in case I am, like, free on some of my Fridays. Like, if there's no other updates from my other novels. Could come into the regular routine if you guys really like it, though. Anyway. I approached the screen and swiped through it until coming across Hangar 03, the primary feral hangar. There was a high-pitched beep as it acknowledged my request, and the screen turned white with another message. Identification card needed. Identification card needed. Please provide authentication. I can't read. Please provide authentication to gain access. Beep. Thanks, Aaron. I fished out my ID, which I held so tightly onto these past few days. The idea of losing it bothered me daily. It was a symbol of endless hours of training and studying, a symbol of my worth as a soldier. Hey, you must be our new recruit. What? Baka? Oh god, I had to. The anime tropes. I squeaked loudly and nearly dropped my card in response to the sudden voice. My cheeks flushed a bright crimson as mortification set in. I fucking squeaked in public. Oh noes! Dirk. Can I draw you? Yes, you can draw me. I always accept fan art. I always save my fan art too from everyone because you guys are nice and deserve to get some credit. Well, someday I could probably do like a montage of it somehow. Don't know how I'd do that live. Maybe make a GIF or something. But yeah. I've had some amazing people draw me stuff. And all of you are the amazing people. But yeah. I always appreciate that, and I just appreciate all the viewership and all that. Maybe during the next scene change, I'll explain something I did for at least one of my videos and some news going forward with my videos. Anyway, I turned, almost ready to deck the person behind me. 5-2 rage! Short King slammed down. No way. Oh, there he is. Oh, fuck, he has the Australian accent. Fuck, I was gonna give him an Australian accent. Oh, fuck. What's an Australian accent? Gotta get into the Australian. Channel the inner Australian in me. Good day, mates. Alright. Ah, sorry. It was a dingo, I'm assuring. A lustrously gilded cannon, just my height. Oh! Short Kings, I see. We got 2 Short Kings in the house. The hell do you want? The snarl I loosed seemed to catch the dingo by surprise, and his bright eyes suddenly flashed a sign of shame. Oh, wait, what? Wait. Oh, there was an error. Oh, he didn't even address himself yet. Okay. I was like, why did it say Gil before? Anyway. Yeah, sorry. That was unprofessional of me. But I did notice that your name is Judah Bishop, yes? Not the best Australian accent, but I'm trying. It will grow on me over time, I swear. I collected my emotions and returned to a calmer state. Wait, he knows my name? Was he looking over my shoulder? Who the hell is this guy? Who are you? Identify yourself! Yeah, that's my name. What about it? I'm hitting the shift key. Judah, you got me nervous. Well, you were on your way to Squad 015, yeah? Squadron 015? My aggravation ebbed to a step back to intrigue. Yes, Squadron 015. How did you... My eyes immediately trailed down to the dingo's suit, of course. Oh god. Was it... Curb Your Enthusiasm music starts playing as he looks down and realizes it's on his suit. Bum 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 ba da 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 da. Of course. Well, ain't this fortunate? Looks like you and I will be working together, yeah? Sorry about what happened earlier. I'm Gil. Gilligan Donato. Yeah, sorry about that whole... Never mind. Hey, so why don't I show you around the hangar and introduce you to the rest of the squad? My ears be itching. It's like I want to hear the music, but at the same time it's hard because it bothers one ear when the other has music in. Anyway, that actually sounded pretty nice. The directions given to me about my squad's location were nebulous at best. And the idea of running around blindly in a feral hangar was an unsavory thought. I'll take you up on that offer. Thanks. Nice. Well, we'll hold up the line. Fuck. I fucked up hard. Nice. Well, we'll hold up the line if we continue this, so come along now. I swiped my card over the screen within a few seconds. The lift opened up. Gil spent a small moment authorizing himself before joining me, and together, the elevator ferried us upwards. I know you all are falling in love with characters already. Dang you thirsty. Nah, kid. Gil is pretty nice looking. Thumbs up on that. But don't worry, we'll meet more characters, and you guys will be able to decide who is your best boy for this novel. Coming March Madness 2021. Alright. Feral hangars had a different stench than the outside of Ardor. Not necessarily nicer, but different. Though it was certainly louder. It was shaped like an elongated box with stretched several hundred meters to a massive gate at the far end. The walls housed compartments where the feral units were held, each different types, colors, and size. Most of their bodies hidden away in the darkness of the alcove, leaving only the head and forelegs visible. The middle was a stretch of runway leading to the far end where the gate stood, its surface covered in large, distinct tracks from innumerable footsteps and wheels. Hangar 03 was alive, and was actively despite the horror. Or wait, fuck. I totally got distracted. I opened something up by accident. Whoops! Okay. Hangar 03 was alive with activity despite the hour. Probably nocturnal squadrons returning to rest and repair. It took around 7 o'clock, or 700 I think they're gonna do. I think this game does military hours, I'm assuming. It took around 700 at least 0700, at least for the artillery nests to even get a little energetic. And goodbye, Garrett. It was great seeing you here. Anyway. Sorry, I'm trying to, like, make sure I don't miss anything. Anyway. Oh, there he is. The Australian. Gil. The metallic clanking of feral equipment, the constant whirring of machinery, the arid aroma of fuel and battery cells. All these new senses were electrifyingly new. You know what's up today, yeah? Resupply run, I believe? Rig 09, 8 hours in field if we're lucky. 6 hours of guiding heavily armored vehicles. I guess it sounded simple enough. Almost mundane. Before I could ask for more information, Gil nudged me and pointed towards one of the compartments we were heading towards. It's stationed at Candid Feral, sporting sharp features and bright gold painting. A Myrmidian class, judging by its physique. It looked gorgeous, honestly. I couldn't imagine this thing being dragged through miles of dust and filth. Here she is, Flaxen Emperor. Impressive, yeah? Gil looked quite proud of his feral, almost as if he was showing off. I couldn't exactly blame him. It was pretty impressive. You're a Myrmidian too? And I thought I was the expert. Yes, indeed. I bit my lip as Gil chortled under his breath. Speaking of Myrmidians, though, I think you should see what's over in the next compartment over there. Oh, that was terrible. Fuck! I am not nailing the Australian accent. I wanted to nail it so badly so it could actually sound good. Speaking of Myrmidians, though, I think you should see what's over in the next compartment over there. I turned as he instructed. There it is. Standing at 15 meters tall, the feral unit long shadow engulfed the two of us. That savage, blood-red coloration almost glowed against the backdrop of its drab compartment. This was mine? Really? Oh, the idea was absurd. I knew it was still technically the military's, but there was something special about being tied to this specific unit. It looks so much sleeker and cleaner compared to every feral I've seen in this hangar. Probably owing to how new it was. And that was just on the outside. The idea of piloting it for the first time made me feel something. Something I haven't felt in a while. Like childish excitement. A bright tingling of joy that I felt deep within my chest. I couldn't help but crack a small grin when I stared it down. What's its call sign? Shay called it Scarlet Echo when he showed it off to us. Beta series, MST Myrmidian or something. Pretty kick-ass if you ask me. Anyways, you'll have plenty of time to play with it later. I have to introduce you to the rest of the squad. Felix and Hugo, Sniper and Paladins respectively. It will place Commander if you familiarize yourself with them first. Or it will please Commander if you're familiarized yourself with them first. And where's the Commander exactly? Big thud, it's just like some giant character comes in the background. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it can't be that cheesy. Oh, that's not rude, Aaron. If I'm working on a visual novel myself, and I was wondering if you have any tips for me. I would love if Cetus was able to answer this too, just for, you know, extra clarification for somebody who's actually writing it, but I can give you some tips too. I would say having a structured workflow and, like, you want to kind of start with like at least an outline, like when you're first brainstorming. I'm assuming you're further than this, but just a general gist of things. When you start out, you want to have like, to get it on paper, to like have a structure, have at least details, like plot out details you want in the story, so you don't just forget them and think, oh, they're just careless ideas. So at least you can write things down and then formulate a structure out of that, like a day-to-day plan for each day or scene or whatever. And then from there, I definitely recommend like RenP for learning it, unless you know like Unity or some other coding thing that you're good at. But if you're saying in terms of just writing or overall just storytelling to the viewer, I would say just for visual novelists that play it online or play stream here, typically they like it when it's like not too long-winded of a day, or at least there's like a definitive gap within the day if it's like really long. But other than that, I would say just write something that's just that you feel is genuinely like, you know, something you are envisioning, and don't be afraid to take criticism. That's really important to help you improve, because putting yourself out there is the biggest part of it. Like asking people for critiques and whatnot, even just friends in like Discord or wherever, just anybody, just for advice on your thing. As long as you're not too pushy on strangers, but you know what I mean. Like make sure to get advice, because it'll boost your confidence once you get the advice, take some feedback, and that will definitely get you to post it someday and keep working on it. So yeah, just be confident in your work, even if it's not good. Like it's okay to not be good at first. Like just throw it onto the paper, just get it down on paper, and then let people see it so they can help you improve. Anyway, back to this news story. And where's the commander exactly? Not sure. Probably off on some official business or something. Fuck, this is really hard getting Gil's Australian accent down. I do not know why I can't do an Australian accent. Shrimp on the barbie, shrimp on the barbie. Trying to like do all the stereotype voices to get it into me. Stereotypes are bad though. Anyway, not sure. Probably off on some official business or something. Oh, I sighed. I had only spent a total of 5 seconds with my new feral. Thinking about it, that was a rather bratty thought, but still. Plus, the prospect of meeting more unfamiliar people was disconcerting. I hope at the very least I won't have to be this uncomfortable for long. Oh, no, I know I'll get used to it one way or another. Still, that first leap is always so arbitrarily difficult. Gil had enthusiasm, at least. Maybe it won't be so hard with him there to guide the introductions. I don't even know the guy, but in situations like this, I'd just rather roll with it. Despite all those knowledge exams and drills, I knew almost nothing about how to exactly get from point A to point B here. The next stall had led me to house one of the largest ferals I've ever seen. It was a behemoth of a feline, covered mostly in darkness, so that all one could see of it was its striking face and powerful front legs. From left to right leg, it took Gil and I almost a full minute to walk to the next stall. Jesus, it's intense. Oh well, you've been working on it since you've been 11. Ian's working on it for 4 years, and I still haven't even finished the plot. That's okay, like, just as long as you're having an outline and putting it down. Like, the most important part is putting something down and having something there to keep you going. Because otherwise, if you don't write it down, like if you don't write a scene or you don't write like the first days or whatnot, you're not gonna have as much motivation to keep going. Like, people get so caught up in keeping it, like, I gotta make it perfect before I do it. Like, you can write the scenes and always go back and change them later. Like, a lot of people have done that with their novels. Even Basket for Tennis Ace has done that. Which, once again, you have to be 18 or older to watch. So, luckily, this novel isn't 18 plus as far as I know. I mean, of course, there's like maybe the occasional violence and stuff, but there's not like 18 plus, like nudity or sex or whatever. Dick off. At least anything I've played so far. Nothing I know of. But yeah. So I don't recommend you like watching the Tennis Ace things or my Smoke Room. Definitely not the Smoke Room. But yeah. Very ambitious for your age. Anyway. The next feral over felt almost underwhelming in comparison, but I and also Gil were more concerned with the two pilots standing at its base. A rat with a wiry tail and a portly sea lion, both of them engaged in conversation. Gil waved and caught their attention, the two turning to us and immediately a look of intrigue spreading across their faces. Gil ran over to greet them while I strayed just behind them, hoping he'd get more of the attention. Hugo, Felix, I've got someone to show you. Oh, hello. Hello, Gil. Hello, Gil. This is Judah, I'm assuming. The sea lion peered over Gil's shoulder, his wide round eyes concentrated on me, and gave him an awkward wave for only a moment. Morning. I'm Hugo. Pleasure to meet you. I said it too boldly. I'm Hugo. Pleasure to meet you. He spoke softly, a soothing change of pace to say the least. The rat, meanwhile, was studying me from beside Hugo, his face inscrutable. He raised his head to acknowledge me, thick glasses obscuring his eyes. I'm Felix Belfast. I man the primary sniper unit and take care of reconnaissance. I hope everything's been treating you well thus far, Judah. Remind me, you transferred from convoy artillery, correct? Perimeter artillery. Ah, I see. Well, certain aspects of your new duties should be familiar enough. You know what it's like outside, at least, yeah? I've seen it from the nests. If you were to perimeter artillery, then you've at least seen them before, right? Moment of truth. Shit. The conversation's atmosphere took a cold dip. Hugo's jovial eyes now strangely inquisitive. I fell quiet, unsure of what to say next. Sorry if it's personal. No, it's fine, just I don't want to think about them. I have had to shoot them before, yes. In artillery, even the ferals were tiny. From my station, I could probably see dozens of squads moving through the wastes. I helped gun down countless I.C.O. from up there, almost to the point it was monotonous. But that was from the safety of Crater Ardor's walls, and even then, they would never go down easily. I do, however, vividly recall moments where we'd assist ferals in taking down I.C.O. that approached too close. I've seen entire squadrons dedicate all their firepower towards eliminating just one. I've seen the visceral intensity of a full battle play out for sometimes hours. And I've seen them tear ferals to shreds. More often than not, there wasn't anything left to burn. It dawned on me then that I wouldn't be at the sea otter sheltered, it dawned on me that I wouldn't be the sea. It dawned on me that I wouldn't be the sea otter sheltered in the artillery nest. I'm not sure how that's right, but whatever. It dawned on me that I wouldn't be the sea otter sheltered in the artillery nest, far from the fray. I'd be one of those tiny figures fighting for my life against those things. My stomach seized up into a knot. Maybe this was a bad idea. I knew what I was getting into. I knew the risks. But now that I'm here, it's just different. There was an uncomfortable silence for a beat before Hugo interjected. Hey, I think I see Shay. Has Judah met him yet, Gil? No. No. I thought just going to do that now. The dingo beckoned me forward. We left Hugo and Felix behind, both quickly returning to their work as if I had never been there. The commander looked like he'd just arrived. A rack of ammunition that could crush bone being lugged around with his powerful form. He turned to face us and gently placed the rack on the ground with a great clanking sound. He was the tallest out of everyone, beating Hugo out by a considerable margin. Despite his size, he walked with the grace only felines could exude. Is this your best man? Good day, Gil, and... Oh. His brilliant jade eyes meet mine, a mixture of overwhelming authority and reassuring warmth being transferred in the process. Keep it down, Judah, keep it down. Judah Bishop, I am assuming. Welcome to Squad 015. I see you have met the rest of your comrades. I nodded in response, his rich voice compelling every ounce of my attention. Splendid. Well, allow me to introduce myself formally. I am Commander Shay Huang. Apologies for my late arrival. I had to discuss a few specifics with the drivers. I only found... Fuck, it's hard to go back and forth between these voices. I only found Judah a little while ago. There was an issue prior. Fuck, I'm doing British now. Fuck! Oh, God. Please help. I only found Judah a little while ago. There was an issue prior. He looked like he was about to explain that whole incident before I eyed him down, shutting his muzzle immediately. Oh, really? It's been resolved. Nothing to worry about. In any case, Judah, I am sure you have a lot of questions concerning your duties, and they will be answered in due time. Holy shit, I'm not sure if it's just me, but for some reason the last time I played, his shoulders weren't as broad. Holy crap, he's got an upgrade. Oh, you guys. For now, I simply want to go over what your assignment will be for today. In the meantime, pay attention and ask questions if necessary. Understood? Yes, sir. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now have you received your schedule last week, Judah? Yes, I am aware of what today's mission entails. Convoy work is fairly simple. If everything goes well, it will be all said and done. Said and done. Oh god. Said and done within 6 or so hours. We will be in a standard convoy formation. Are you familiar with our formations, Judah? Somewhat. The extent of my training is mostly general education, however. This is me going to college. The extent of my training is mostly general education, however. I see. Well, a standard convoy will have Felix and Hugo in the back, providing range support and rear defense. Meanwhile, you and Gil will comprise our flank defense. I will be the vanguard. The resource vessels will be contained in the middle of our formation to lower the chance of I.C.O. contact. You will learn more of our offensive formations in the field. I hope those were covered in your training. Follow my directions and maintain vigilance. You will have nothing to worry about today. Understood. I was beginning to feel that some of my training was useless when I was left unsure about these kinds of specifics. All the serious talk from my instructors and the constant grind to ace preliminary exams, yet I still didn't know anything about certain formations. Despite that, I felt like I could trust Shay, Gil, and the rest of it when it comes to learning the little minutiae. I must admit, I look forward to working with you, Bishop. You ranked in the top 3 percentile during your training, am I correct? Yes, sir. It's why I was recommended so readily to your squad. Of course, of course. I am eager to see what you have in store for us. Now, Donato. The dingo's ears perked up and he turned to Shay. Yes, Commander? Normally, I'd be the one offering instructions, but you're our only Myrmidian in the squadron. Keep a watchful eye on Judah's stance and movements while we're out today. Teach him how to fully embrace the Myrmidian's offensive prowess. Understood. Looks like I got myself a pupil. I'm not elite, but I can show you some useful tricks that training programs don't teach upon, or don't touch upon. I nodded silently. Gil being a mentor to me. He's having the fantasies right now. The placement was so sudden for a person I met just this morning. I guess it made sense, seeing how, as he's the only other Myrmidian in the squad, I could garner some valuable information from his experience. He did save my ass back at the station though, and I can't do anything about it now anyways. Plus, if Shay decided on it, then I assume it must be a sound decision. Sorry. Everyone here seemed to place a high degree of faith in his abilities and judgment. If that was the case, then, well, so do I. I turned to Gil. The dingo's tail still wait, Jesus. I turned to Gil, the dingo's tail swishing back and forth like a fuzzy pendulum. Actually, has his tail ever stopped wagging since I met him? Reminds me of another canine creature we know and all love. We have an hour or so before we'll get the call to sortie. Is it sortie? I've never seen that word before.
Sortie.
Sortie. Okay. We have an hour or so before we'll get the call to sortie. Do whatever's necessary in preparation and be in your ferals by 6:45. Wait, I thought it was 7. Is he meaning 6:45 p.m.? This ain't military time, this is a joke! What kind of squadron doesn't use military time? Shay pressed a great paw to his chest, the familiar recital already welling up in my throat. Respite in death, comrades. Connecting audio and video channels 1-3 to command. This is Squad 015. Judah Bishop, do you read me, operator? This is is this the female instructor? I don't know. I'm gonna take a shot. This is Operator Royce. Communication systems are fully functioning. Primary power drive green. Auxiliary power drive green. Artificial optic nervous centers green. Permission to activate ventriloquist system? Permission granted. The nauseating spinning was fairly mitigated for me at this point. reduced to nothing more than lightheadedness for a brief moment. Oh, Cetus is here! Whoops, left that in! Oh, that's who said that! I was like wondering who said that. This is the creator of this novel. Give him lots of love. Give him lots of love for his best boys. Anyway. Piloting Scarlet Echo felt different from my previous experiences. I couldn't explain precisely. Or couldn't explain why precisely. The way the tactile receptors felt, the way I balanced, the way it moved. It was smoother, enhanced, refined. I looked to my side and saw that the rest of Squad 015 were already out of their holding compartments. At that moment, the scale of the Paladin unit struck me. Hugo and Chase Farrells were behemoths when out of their stalls. Each step a reverberating crash on the floor. Shay's in particular was a striking sight to behold. It definitely had to be the largest I've seen before. However, each step it took was graceful and calculated. But there was no doubt that it was powerful. Even Hugo, whose unit was who wasn't... Can I read? Can I even read? But there was no doubt that it was powerful. But there was no doubt that it was powerful. Even Hugo, whose unit wasn't that much smaller, looked like it would have a difficult time against Shay. Shay and Hugo journeyed towards the runway and made an opening in the middle for us smaller units to enter through. Gil and I were side by side with Felix, his ferrule a measly 10 meters long. Took up the front, a petite rodent covered in blue painting. The hangar's massive runway was able to accommodate our concise formation, leaving enough room for the convoys to be stationed right behind us. As we made our way towards the massive gate at the end of our runway, the communication systems activated and the man's voice, Royce, I believe, 0 for 2, baby! Woo! As we made our way towards the massive gate at the end of the runway, the communication systems activated and the man's voice, Royce, I believe, spoke up, sounding rather tired and apathetic. Squad 015 reported. Commander Unit Amberlin. It's just me. I swear to God, is it just me? Does anybody think about Amberlin Reed when I read this? Like, it's a cool name, but every time I'm like, it'd be big. It'd be big and strong, like Amberlin Reed. I guess you can interpret strong in whatever ways. A strong force to be reckoned with. We're not gonna diss weight loss channels, anyway. Okay. Commander Unit Amberlin, standing by, awaiting permission to sortie. Flaxen Emperor, standing by, awaiting permission to sortie. Royal Smoke, standing by, awaiting permission to sortie. Password Blue, standing by, awaiting permission to sortie. Scarlet Echo, standing by, awaiting permission to sortie. All units accounted for. Opening Gate 3A. Several sirens blared, followed by an audible whirring noise as the monstrous gate slowly lifted away, letting beams of light from the outside flood into the hangar. As the gate gradually lifted away, I glanced at the ground floor sprawling with pilots who were merely insects at the scale. A dark thought crossed my mind with how many people were squashed underfoot from these things. There's gonna be a lot of people with that are macrophiles that would love that. Or microphiles? Which way is it? Yeah, it'd be microphiles because you'd be the one that's small. Like, people who like microphilia be like... Anyway. The opening of the gate felt like an eternity. Each moment, a slight nagging in the pit of my stomach grew. I had expected my anxiety. I just need to ignore it. Shove it aside. There was another loud clanking noise, and the gate was wide open. The hangar, the inside of a vast mouth, and we'd be escaping through its jowls into the unknown. Permission to sortie granted. All units follow my lead. And Judah? Yes, sir? Good luck out there today. Yes, sir. Move out! I totally feel like Shay and Amicus have similar vibes to me. Similar good boy vibes. I don't know why. Class was unusually silent today, and for good reason. For many, it'd be their first time seeing them alive. Oh, flashback time. I sat in front, as close as I could get to the large tank situated in the auditorium stage. On the auditorium stage. It was a small glass cube fit with electromagnetic field emitters that's what our instructor referred to as, anyways. Sorry, I thought that was a letter for some reason, the parenthesis. I see parentheses and I cry because of my classes. Anytime I see brackets, parentheses, or Greek letters, I will fall into the floor bawling. But I kid. Anyway, it was a small glass cube fit with electromagnetic field emitters. That's what our instructor referred to it as anyways, and filled to the brim with a transparent liquid that contained a myriad of objects. They were like crystals, translucent geometric shapes, the size of my paw pad, floating within the cube like particulate matter in a glass of water. They were aimless and moved like intoxicated drunkards with no apparent awareness of space. The emitters droned on loudly and drowned the voice of today's instructor. He spoke something about thanking I.C.O for supplying today's demonstration. Nothing important. We all were waiting for him to turn the emitters off. A female behind me, speaking in a slight tone, asked her friend if she had seen them before. The response was negative. I averted my eyes from the cube and stared downwards at my legs, which were bouncing vigorously. While introducing trainees to what they'll be facing is a good idea, is it necessary for me, really? I know it all too well. It's easy to tell who does anyways. The trainees whose eyes were furrowed, whose bodies showed no hint of excitement, who stared blankly and perhaps even fearfully at the cube. It's not uncommon to see someone whose life was irrevocably changed by those monsters. My attention snapped back to the stage as our teacher, a handsome young German Shepherd, it's going to be Coach Gil from after class, I swear to God. So my attention snapped back to the stage as our teacher, a handsome young German Shepherd, approached the machine. With a flick of a switch, the droning stopped, and everyone's attention was drawn immediately to a cube. The shapes stopped their haphazard floating the instant the switch had flipped. They began moving with greater energy, darting and twirling in their liquid cage with tremendous zeal. Some ran directly into each other to form a pair, then that pair ran into another pair to form a larger unit, and the cycle continued. Soon, the cube was such a chaotic vortex of color that nothing could be made out coherently. There was a droning, pulsating sound, like a heartbeat, which increased in volume as each constituent shape connected like a macabre puzzle. A claw, a leg, an eye. With each piece that fell in place, a body was taking form. An innumerable count of minds uniting together as one unit and connected by the faint length of a magnetic field. They have mastered harmony, perfected efficiency, and can amalgamate into whatever form suits their needs. That is the nature of the I.C.O. And that's why they are the greatest threat to life on this planet. Oh boy. Spooky. Oh, that's the end of chapter 1. Thanks guys for watching. No, I'm kidding. We're only like, what, an hour and a half in? We got some time. I think we could finish this entire story up. Silhouetted in the distance was the carcass of an old world city. A concrete husk swallowed in the shade of the mountains that rolled endlessly beyond. The only sign of life in the dead of the wastes was a speck of red light flashing from a structure wedged into the mountain, Rig 09. It was a relief to finally see our destination, but there was still a long trek to go. Even with the ventilation at full blast, I was baking in the Scarlet Echo. The sun beamed unmitigated upon our squad, which were mere specks of color in the vast ocean of emptiness. It has been an endless flatland from Ardor to the Ring. Any I.C.O, we saw small, pathetic colonies which fled the moment they noticed us. It was a lot more boring than I had imagined, honestly, but I was relieved. Still, complacency is fatal in the wastes, and no matter how safe I felt Scarlet Echo's arm cannons were always a nervous twitch away from firing. Squad 015, fuel check. 94%, sir. 91. Standing at 95%. About the same as Gil. I just want numbers, Bishop. 94%. ETA plus 3 hours until we've reached our target destination. We're making good time, squad. Keep it up. Commander. Yes, Wagner? There's something odd about the ground. Look at it. It's giving in. Just as the sea lion had described, the ground beneath his and Shay's ferals buckled and sagged beneath their weight, spiderweb cracks branching off with every step of their mechanical paws. Shay brought his feral, and by extension the rest of the squad, to a sudden halt. The beastly tiger turned towards Felix, to which the rat responded by investigating immediately. His petite feral hunched over as it prodded the earth beneath it. Upon further inspection, it appears we're traversing unstable ground. If that's the case, then we could be above a cavern or sinkhole. However, this material contradicts that assessment. It appears to be composed of a refined silt or clay, most likely belonging to an old world lake bed. If that's correct, then the presence of a sinkhole or cavern is questionable at best. What are you getting at, Felix? Or trying to... it's like hard to go between Shay and Gil's voices. What are you getting at, Felix? Something must be creating those tunnels. It's optimal digging material for a subterranean I.C.O. colony to be making its territory. Commander, when was the last resupply run for Rig 09? 2 or 3 months at most. Only 2 or 3 months since the previous expedition? If these cavities Felix is telling us about are indeed made by an underground colony, then... yeah, it could still be around. We continued on our trek in silence, my mind roiling with uneasy thoughts. It might be... no. It must still be there. As Felix had pointed out, the ground felt hollow in certain areas, but firm in others. They could be old tunnels, but... no, that's just wishful thinking. Everyone found this revelation to be unexpected. If Felix believes they are indeed recent, then the probability of an I.C.O. colony being close by is alarmingly high. Oh, what a tongue twister. A nervous chill ran up the length of my tail and up my spine. We're dead in the middle of this territory, but with nothing but endless wasteland surrounding us. This is what I signed up for, right? Isn't this what I wanted? I was torn from my anxious lapse by a sudden stop. Shay had commanded a halt. He must have noticed something. There in the distance was a mound or a hole. Normally something like this would have bended in Nothing something like this would have bended in among... Normally something like this would have blended in amongst the tracks, the debris and the feral chunks scattered around the wasteland. But we've come close enough to notice that it isn't any ordinary depression in the dust. It's much larger. Belfast, reconnaissance. Affirmative. Felix's feral turned back and crawled towards the convoy formation just behind us. This is Belfast to Carrier H6, requesting long-range destabilizing rifle. One vehicle separated from the convoy and made its way towards the feral. As it approached, it opened up its canopy to reveal an assortment of black mechanical objects. Engage Mode A. Felix set to work organizing and piecing the parts together with robotic efficiency. Within seconds, the pile of metal had been fashioned into a lethal-looking sniper rifle. I doubt I could assemble Myrmidian weapons in half his time. The length of the rifle, that of Password Blue's height, yet despite its discrepancy in size, the feral carried it with little difficulty. Felix directed the elongated barrel in the direction of the ground. Directing feral HUD to rifle scope. Process complete. I have the visual on the target. It appears to be the opening of a tunnel. Striations are present around the lip of the entrance. Definitely the work of an I.C.O. colony. Due to their nature and appearance, the structures which made it must have been elongated and incredibly sharp. Judging by the size of the hole and the evidence present, whatever colony this must be at least 25 or so meters, if not more. I'm afraid we're risking confrontation with an I.C.O. mega colony. Oh boy, first day, we're gonna meet a mega colony. Maybe? Oh. Squad 015 fell silent at the utterance of that word. For a beat, all that could be heard was the toiling of the wasteland winds before Shay spoke up. Alright, listen up. Convoy vehicles, maintain a distance of 3 meters from each other. Felix will be positioned in the middle of this formation while Hugo and I flank it. I want our Myrmidians to be in the front guard. You remember how to form a diamond formation, Judah? Cut the cross-chat, stay close to one another, and relay any unusual activity immediately. Is that understood? We gave our unanimous affirmation. Our formation reshuffled in no time at all, and Shay gave the order to advance with a distinctly aggressive tone. It was about time we'd find some trace of them. Things had been too uneventful out here. I have no idea if I'm prepared for this or not. Hell, we don't know if it's still around here anymore. I imagine the earth beneath me, a sprawling system of tunnels where I.C.O. zooids festered like fungus. I was about to say fungi, I don't know. The grisly thought of whatever hideous forms could be beneath my paws made my stomach twist. I gritted my teeth, inadvertently causing Scarlet Echo's jaws to clench. Gil's feral stopped suddenly, its mechanical tail raised high, likely mimicking the dingo's body within. Do you feel that? Report in, Donato. I'm sensing movement, vibrations. Almost immediately, Scarlet Echo detected the same. The sensation was relayed from the sensors in its paw to my own. It was like pressing my paws onto a generator, and it increased in intensity at an alarming rate. I could feel it draw near. Something large. Something horrible. My instincts screamed for me to run, to fight, to do something. What could I do? I don't know where it is. I can't run. I can't fight it. It's somewhere close. God, where the fuck is it? The vibrations reached their peak, and just before I was about to fire the entirety of my arm's cannon ammunition into the ground, they receded and disappeared altogether. Assume offensive position, squad! At Shay's command, every unit flung itself into a hostile stance. Any suspicious movement would lead the entire squad into a brutal frenzy. Could you tell how large it was, Gil? No, but it was fast, like, really fast. I swear it was like a missile firing beneath me. We sat there for 5 full minutes in absolute silence. The seconds creeping by at an insufferable pace. It must be aware of our position, but hasn't been provoked to attack just yet. Bishop, Donato, extract weapons from the convoys and engage your bipedal modes. Gil and I affirmed in unison. The carriers which held our weaponry started up and made their way towards us from the middle of their formation. Okay, somebody's asking... Oh, it's Aaron again. If you can make me a special character in my visual novel. I mean, if it's like a guest cameo, I don't want to be like a main important character. Like if you have like a main character in the story or something like that, like if he's supposed to play like a big role or whatever, then I don't want myself to be like taking over that story and make it like about me. But if I'm just like in a cameo or something like that, if it's just very infrequent, then sure, I'm fine with that, yeah. But if you still want a character like that special character based on me, yeah, special appearance, yeah, I'm chill with. Yeah, I just don't want people to be like, oh, let me insert Dirk as the main character or as one of the most important characters in my novel. I could care less about special appearances because, yeah, that's normal to do, and I'm not stealing like the spotlight from the story itself. Yeah. Anyway. Thanks, Aaron. So, Gil and I affirmed in unison. The carriers which held our weaponry started up and made their way towards us from the middle of the formation. Engage Mode A! Flaxen Emperor proceeded to morph into its body to an upright position as the convoys neared. Already their canopies were opening to provide us with weaponry. I was also about to initiate my mode shift when something stirred. My vehicle had to be only about 5 meters in front of me when the ground between us bulged. A distinctive fissure grew within seconds, tearing the earth asunder like gelatin being sliced with a knife. A glint. Okay, what did you guys miss? My mic just turned off. Like here. So, I'm just gonna start here. I don't know why my mic turned off. I guess nobody noticed. Anyway, something stirred. My vehicle had to be only about 5 meters in front of me when the ground between us bulged. A distinctive fissure grew within seconds, tearing the earth asunder like gelatin being sliced with a knife. A glint. A faint glint. For nearly a nanosecond, the tip of a saber-like tooth emerged. It was cutting away at the ground like it was paper, and before it could even react, a sizable gash had been created. The vehicle wasn't stopping. Had they noticed? No, I have to do something. I lunged. No, stop! The ground erupted in an explosion of debris and dust, sending rubble flying in every direction. The force sent me flying back, landing belly up as the cockpit violently jostled. The convoy had been sent careening several meters through the air, crashing near Gil in a great blaze. Anyone in there would have been killed in an instant.
From its mangled canopy looked to be a piece of a feral weapon. A polearm, its blade sticking out like a broken bone in the wreck. Shay was roaring something. Commands? My mind was fixed on only one thing. The shadow cloaked in the veil of dust. It was slender like a rod, and it writhed in the most unnatural way, its own armor scratching against itself with each disturbing convulsion. But that head, it was a nightmare. Elongated knives for teeth formed a ring around its gaping hole of a mouth, and on the other side were what looked to be prehensile appendages adorned with more ebony spikes. Each part of it looked alive, every armored portion, every hellish tooth, every ciliated structure moving in harmonious chaos. It bobbed side to side, performing some wicked dance as the... Why did I say it like that? Some wicked dance! Break it down, monster! Anyway, it bobbed side to side, performing some wicked dance as the individuals that made up its body worked to coordinate each movement. I'd expected to feel helpless when I first encountered them. That fear would seize my being and swallow me up in a paralyzed stupor. And here I was, knocked prone as the dust unveiled the devil's own spawn. That fear, that crushing anxiety. I had none of that. Oh god, here it is. If only for a second, all hesitation turned to ash, and my entire being was filled with one solitary desire. To erase this thing from the face of the world. That feeling wasn't new. I've often contemplated my anger, my hatred. Why were they here? Why do they kill? Why is our entire world rendered in this hospitable shithole because of these fucking monsters? That anger grew and grew like a vicious hurricane, its intensity and vitriol increasing exponentially every passing moment. But then, the dust settled, and the fear had returned once again. Dear Lord. Wild monster appeared. The mega colony's head was bulging as the armored zooid softened in consistency. They swelled if pumped full of liquid, protruding out of their makeshift sockets. Eyes, milky white eyes, staring down Scarlet Echo vacantly. I was vulnerable. I couldn't move. My harmonics were low, or my harmonics were too low. It trained its arms towards me. I saw how they cut through the ground. I shivered. Considering how easily they sliced through the ground, one good strike could mean the end. We're going for the arm cannon. Fucking eliminate him. My first instinct was to raise my arm cannon directly at the incoming I.C.O. Focusing everything on this one movement, managed to get Scarlet Echo's arm to raise. Damn it, Dirk. You're playing the old version. Did you update it? Because I should have checked before playing it today. Anyway, keep going, we can't stop the action. Fuck. I got caught up in something. Alright, keep going. It was just in the nick of time as a blossom of a bullet fire rained out from the barrel. Oh, that was not the roar, shaking my head. I'm sorry. Its armor hide shattered and a spray of liquid erupted from the impact of my gunfire. My counterattack caused its strike to miss and left the colony staggering. Before it could right itself back up, A collided canine clamped its jaws around the side of I.C.O.'s head. Yeah, the release build was for this one. It was 0.2, but you like made some modifications to it, like after I had it downloaded. I mean, I don't want to like download it in the middle of the battle, but I'll try and keep myself updated for it and try and like get the updated version ASAP. Anyway, before it could right itself back up, a collided canine clamped its jaws around the side of the I.C.O.'s head. Yeah, Gil! Oh, that was a nice hit, Judah. Now help me erase this fucker. He spoke with such flaming resolve that I too felt it with every fiber. I really just like this older version, actually. I suppose I can save. How much time are we in? Hour and 43. Yeah, we got time to just update. Hold on. We are taking a temporary break at the 1 minute and 43... 1 hour and 43 minute mark. Don't worry, this is gonna take me like a minute max.